That's freaking awesome. You just have to play and you get more of that. See? How easy it is. So, without further ado, go ahead. Let's start us off.
This is called A Galaxy Far Away.
or did you make that up yourself, or how? That is freaking awesome. That is so cool. Really, that is so neat. So has it always been made like that, as far as electric, or?
For about 20 years.
Really, that is so cool. Have you ever seen that?
Never saw it.
That is so cool. That is awesome. You got another one?
Sure.
Yeah, cool.
Nice.
It is so cool. I need to get me one of them. Are these all your own songs?
Yes.
Oh man, that's so cool.
This This one is called Late Night in Dubai.
Cool. And you made it out alive to tell the tale. electric guitar, you know, it's just more solid body, but this is an electric violin, and there's hardly anything to it.
Yeah.
That is so amazing.
It just gets plugged in like a guitar.
Right?
You know, pretty much.
That is so cool. And it's more lightweight?
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
Pretty lightweight.
Holy cow.
I don't
That
want
is...
to kick it around too much.
Yeah. No, not at all. How about one more, and then we'll have a little chat.
Sounds good.
We'll talk about what you're doing with all that cool
Sounds good.
stuff. That white one's pretty too.
Yeah.
Buzzing. Is that our mics
This
again?
one called You Are My Beginning.
Man, that is amazing. Alrighty. Ron, that is amazing. Let me turn these cameras around. We got the chair. This one's and I don't know. Mickey says he's gonna show up, but we don't know.
Come on, Mickey.
I know. He's supposed to be moving again, and he says, well, you know. I said, okay. I take it as a no, but you know. Have a seat. Have a seat. I know our chairs are all mismatched. The boss took all the matching chairs to the other studio.
Yeah.
And all the gear and everything else. So, Ron, that is amazing. How long have you been playing?
Well, since I was 5.
Really?
Yeah.
Always violin?
Some piano too, but mostly violin.
Did you record all the backtracks and
Yes.
everything?
I recorded
All of it?
All the tracks, singular tracks, the bass, the drums, the keyboards, everything.
Holy cow, and you've been
Yeah.
touring since what, you were about 7?
I've been playing concerts since about 8 years old.
Really?
But just, I'm from the East Coast. I'm from Connecticut,
Oh.
in New England area, and
Very
so
cool.
I started playing on stages when I was about 8 years old.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is so awesome.
Yeah.
So you're a child prodigy and everything, right?
I don't know about that. I was a child. I was a bad one.
But do we ever grow up, really? You know, what's the
Trying-
joke
I'm
about
doing
you could
the
either be
best.
grow up to be a musician, you can't be both?
Right. Became a musician. I don't think I grew up.
That is so awesome. But you live here now?
I
You're,
do.
I mean,
Yeah.
when's your next tour? When you go back out?
Well, I've been living in St. Louis since a long time ago. Since college,
Mhm.
came here for college, and then with COVID, who knows yet? We're kind of kicking
Right.
around some dates and trying to get some shows going, and it's a little hard to commit to something long term right now. 'Cause,
Right.
But that's why I'm getting out here and doing things like this tonight.
Oh man, this is
Yeah.
awesome! But you should hit up some of our local musicians, Joe Mancuso.
Oh, sure.
You know, I mean, he plays at Sheldon all the time. I don't know what the schedule is and all that, but I mean, he's starting to play out more now. And his daughter, do you know Joe?
I know of him. Yeah.
You know of him? Okay, yeah, he's a jazz musician, but he dabbles in a little bit of rock and roll because his daughter's a rock and roll
Yeah.
chick, you know. So
Alright.
he's really funny. And Dave Black,
He's one of my best friends.
he is awesome. I mean, him and Dave still play together.
Yeah,
so.
we went to college at Webster University together.
Oh no
We played
kidding.
some jazz combos together, and I've known him for forever.
Well,
Yeah,
Joe's
he's
daughter
great.
Kayla, that's where she graduated from,
Mhm.
and her band, Crystal Lady. Originally, if I'm not mistaken, all the members were from Webster.
Okay.
She doesn't have the same members she started with, but still, they're a great original band, and he manages them. So yeah, it's funny to see him get up and do some rock and roll. It just cracks me up because
Right.
not used to seeing him do that, you know. But he's got the pipes for it. So
Yeah.
he's been in here a couple times. He's hilarious. So well, yeah, you should hit him up. Maybe I don't know what's going on at the pageant or Delmar Hall, but I mean, you know, those would be great venues for you for sure.
Yeah.
Probably a showcase or something. Where do you usually play? I mean, before COVID, would you play everywhere?
Well, actually, this music I wrote specifically to come out right around when COVID hit us,
Mm-hmm.
so I haven't played it very much out. And I have around 80 original songs. Excuse me. I have about 80 original songs in rotation right now, and so I'm just, you're seeing the birth of this basically. I'm trying to tell you.
So where can we get all your music?
know.
Everywhere? Spotify, YouTube? Where can
will
we
be
get
up
it?
there too? Yeah.
Awesome.
And I have you can listen to some videos on my website,
Mhm.
so which is just a Facebook page at this point. It's just freestyle,
Right.
aka Ron Vince.
Right.
You can listen to my tracks there and some of my little videos that I'm starting to play around town, stuff like that.
That's cool.
So,
That's very
yeah.
cool. That's awesome.
A lot of my music is dance music too, so it's hard to play dance music for like a concert right now outside.
Mhm.
So but as soon as I can get into some clubs real soon, then I'll be able to crank some of that stuff out.
Well, I know they're doing a lot of outdoor concerts. The Blues Museum, they have that alfresco little.
Yeah.
It's in between it's not really the alley, but it's in between the museum and I don't know what side of the street it's on, but it's just right there, right next to it.
Okay.
So, have you been to the Blues Museum?
Yeah, one time. So
Did you record?
No, I went there.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
But it's kind of cool though. I mean, you could play with anybody you want.
Sure.
See, you need to get your stuff in there.
Yeah.
Why not?
Yeah. I've played with a lot of people around town that probably, mutual friends of ours, you know, a lot of people. And so I went to Webster and I played with some of the jazz musicians there, and they're older now, like myself, and they're all established folks around town, you know, so I know a lot of those guys.
So on your Facebook page, you talk about some of the national acts that you played with.
Yep.
Were you on tour with all these people, or how did it start?
I did a lot of work with Smokey Robinson. I played with actually with Wayne Newton and was supposed to tour with him, but there was a housing issue that my first wife wasn't too thrilled with. I was supposed to room with the female backup singers, and she didn't like that idea.
I don't know why.
Yeah,
I mean,
couldn't get it through her. I tried, and you know, it just
you
didn't
said
work
your
out.
first wife.
So I played, yeah.
Well, there you go.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
We won't go into all that, but
I should have taken the gig, you know, because it wouldn't have mattered either way, right?
Well, there you go.
Oh yeah, so you know, stuff like that. I played at the Fox Theater for many years. I was in the orchestra and played with a lot of people that came through town, and you know, was able to go off and do things after that.
But Wayne and Smokey, I heard they're really nice guys.
Oh yeah, they're great.
Super nice, just
Yeah.
real down to earth,
Yeah.
and you know, they even though they got a big name, they're still just regular people. And I've got a friend of mine who's a makeup artist, and she's worked with a lot of people. She said, "Oh yeah, super
Oh,
cool."
Yeah.
So how long were you on tour with Smokey?
For like a week and a half, not long. You know, so
Man,
that was-
just to say you got to play with that guy.
Yeah.
Wow, that is.
And I played with him many times that he's come into town, you know.
Mm-hmm.
We've done a lot of shows, you know, and his keyboard player's great guy. Strictly business though. He doesn't mess around.
Really?
Yeah, but he's great. He's really good.
That is so cool. So what was your favorite place to play? I mean, you've probably played all over the United States, haven't you?
I have.
And Europe?
I played with the St. Louis Symphony for 8 years.
Oh,
as a
very
violin
cool.
player, you know. So I got to go to Asia a couple of times, and I got to go to New York and all over the East Coast. We were supposed to go to Europe, but Desert Storm hit that war, so they canceled the tour. So we didn't get to go.
Really?
Yeah, that was back in the 90s, I think. So that didn't work out. So.
Wars, natural disasters, all kinds of stuff's just been trying to get in your way.
Yeah.
Don't let it stop you.
Yeah.
Keep
yeah,
going.
Yeah. Actually, I just got out of the hospital 2 days ago.
Oh no!
But I'm doing good. I had some fluid in my lungs, but they got rid of it, so that's why I'm coughing a little bit here. But physically, I feel fine. You know,
Do you want a water or?
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
So, did you have COVID like everybody else?
I did like a year and a half ago or so. That was not a lot of fun, and I
No,
feel
it
bad
sucks.
for everybody else that did. You know.
There you go.
Thank you.
Yeah, it was no fun. I think I felt like I had it before they even announced it, cause it just But then when I did get it, it was different, but still, it was the same. Ugh, just I can't describe it. And now everybody's running around. Now they're talking about the vaccine that's not helping people. So they're either getting worse or they're getting sick or they're dying or just all kinds of I don't know. That whole thing is just. I don't understand the whole thing still. I don't get it. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's just not enough to, But it's definitely, it has definitely thrown a crimp into everything. I just never thought that this would ever happen. Considering all the crap that the world has gone through, I just never really, got it. I still don't get it.
Yeah.
It's kind of like politics, It's just, something's not right.
Yeah, it kind of snuck up on us, didn't it?
Doesn't matter what political party you are, just something is just not right there. It just doesn't work. But so, have you ever taught? Do you teach? Or?
Yeah, I've actually taught lessons since I was 18. I
Really?
taught violin and piano and some cello and viola players, mostly violin and piano though, and some cello students.
Very cool.
All different ages. I taught at Webster University and taught at Central Visual and Performing Arts for a few years, the high school there in North City.
Yeah.
I taught the string program there, and that was a lot of fun. I enjoyed that a lot.
I bet. There's a friend of mine. Do you know Ash Myers?
I do not think I do.
She is no bigger than a minute. I swear she's this tall.
Oh.
She's the tiniest little thing I've ever seen. I mean, she plays a violin and a fiddle, and she's just amazing. I think she's in Atlanta now, but she's been back and forth to California, Atlanta, here, touring with, I don't know who she's touring with, but I know she's done a lot of work with national acts and different producers and all that. She does it's funny because she's in all kinds of different kind of music genres. It's not just classical, but she's done rock, she's done rap, she's done a little bit of everything, and it's just really cool.
Yeah.
There's a ton of videos out there, and I was hoping the next time she came into town that she would swing by here, but she's just so freaking busy. I mean, there's just not a lot of players out there like that that are that good.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, she's maybe 4'9", just little bitty, but the sound that comes out of that little girl is just amazing.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Great.
but so you've always wanted to play this when you were a kid? It's just
Yeah, I went to a concert when I was a kid and heard a old time guy called, his name is Isaac Stern. I mean, he's dead now. He's many years dead, but he just blew me away. I sat in the front row when I was 5 years old, and my dad actually was a singer, and he said, "Let's go to a concert." And I said, "Okay, I guess." I didn't know what to expect at all,
Mhm.
And I just sat there and I was mesmerized by how great this classical violin player was, So I came home and I said I wanted to start playing the violin that night, right after he played, and that's how it all started, So I took lessons after that.
So you had the basic wooden violin, and then
Yeah.
what you elevated to this, or this is just
I
what's
still
come out
play
progressive, or
classical. I still play classical music and rock and jazz and lots of different styles. My music is a lot of different styles, a lot of different genres, which I can demonstrate some of that. But yeah, I don't have a specific style that I like the most, I guess, anymore.
Mhm.
It used to be classical, and that was years ago, But I always listened to Chick Corea and progressive
doesn't
jazz.
love Chick Corea. Oh
Yeah,
man, he's so.
my favorite bands were like Emerson, Lake and Palmer, and Yes, and
Yep.
Rush. Bands like that. They just were just at the top of their game. It was so good, And saw a lot of them live, and so there's got to be more to just playing classical violin. I thought.
Definitely.
So that's when I kind of branched off and kept doing the classical and kept playing in orchestras, and I played in Hartford Symphony and Memphis Symphony and St. Louis Symphony. But I just feel like there's got to be more to it than that for a violin player, so that's why I started writing music and just checking out a lot of different styles of stuff. So
Do you ever go to any open jams?
I have. It's been a few years. I haven't gone since things started creeping back. But we were just talking about it actually.
Speaking of, Tuesday nights we've got a rock royalty jam at Diamond Music Hall. It's a very cool venue if you've not been there. So I host it, and we've got some killer house musicians. They've been around. They're all in different bands, and they play well together. We've got 2 guitar players, Kevin Lehman, John Eschenbrenner. Our drummer is Bobby Taylor, and then our bass player is Rob Sherman, and then Steve Hall is our singer. And they've all, like I said, they've all been in separate bands, or some of them are still in bands together or whatever. But and then I keep the jam going because people sign up, and then I just keep it rotating all night and mix people up. So Jerry Coughlin, who owns a Music Go Round in St. Charles, he's the sponsor. He plays the sax, so when he comes up there, there's very few songs that have a sax player. But yeah, he's awesome. I mean, he's great. So come, please.
Okay.
And you can, since you're a solo act, I'll let you play 3 songs, because usually people come up and I let them do 2 songs. But if you bring the whole band, since you're the only one in the band, you can do 3 songs, or jump in there anytime and play with anybody. I mean, it's just, that's why it's just fun. And then Wednesday night, Charlotte Pub has they have a jam session. Thursday night, Charlotte has a really killer rock and roll jam session. It's probably the best in the city, I would have to say.
Yeah.
If you've not been to Charlotte Pub,
I have, actually.
I mean, all the
Played
best
there many
musicians
years
play
ago.
there, and
Yeah.
I'm right. I always say that, and yes.
Played there many years ago. Yeah.
Yeah, it's still, RFT voted it like the best dive bar in St. Louis, and yeah, it's still, and that's a compliment. It's not a bad thing, because the sound in that freaking bar is just bar none.
It's good, yeah.
It is. Isn't it crazy? I mean,
good
it's just,
acoustics, yeah.
it is. It really is. It's
Bounces
right on.
It does,
I don't know if it's just the balanced right with the ceiling and the floor and the carpet and the smoke, or what it is, but it all works.
I used to play there with Mike Saffron from Pavlov.
Really?
And David Surkamp and other people and stuff like that.
Well, David's touring in Europe again with he got the drummer from Trixie Delight, Steve Bunk.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yep, he recruited him.
Okay.
And he's supposed to be on tour, or supposed to be going on tour. I don't know if he's out there now. And then Mike Saffron's playing with Steve Scorfino.
Right. And Steve's
So,
a friend of mine too. Yeah. Steve's
yeah.
great.
I love Steve. Steve's been in here a couple of times. He's such a sweetheart. I mean, what a great guy. He's got so many stories.
Oh yeah.
He is, and he's really laid back. Now, I know he was sick for a while. He got COVID, and at his age, not a good idea, you know.
No.
So,
No.
but it's all good.
Yeah.
It's all good. So, but yeah, he's really super cool. So, do you have anything lined up as far as gigs yet, or?
Not yet. That's the thing. I just getting out there with when you play original music and nobody's ever heard it. You know, you can be great and nobody knows who the heck you are. You know, and it's like you have to prove yourself to people. You know, because it's not your. I'm not doing cover songs that I can. I have like 10 that I can play, but you know, you got to license them and all that stuff. Is if you're playing a track that's created by somebody else instead of if you don't do your own track. And I really don't want to spend my time writing cover tune tracks. You know.
Well, that's why we need more. See, we need originals to make
Right.
covers.
Right.
But yeah, Thursday night at Diamond they do original music. Red Flag does original music, and that used to be Fubar.
Mhm.
But otherwise, and Pops is starting to open up again. But there's just not that many venues that
Right.
have original music. The Duck Room, but I don't think they're open yet. And if you haven't played you played the Duck Room.
Yeah,
Haven't
many
you?
years ago.
Yeah, as long as it's on your resume, you got to have the Duck Room on
Yeah.
your resume. You know,
Yeah.
just because it's a cool venue too.
Mhm.
But yeah, there's just not too many venues out there that have original music that and, yeah, like at the Landing back in the day. You know, you could always go and hear original music. We were dying for it.
Right.
But I don't know if you were here. This was back in the 90s, late 80s, early 90s.
90s, yeah, I was.
Like the Urge was always playing
Yeah,
down there.
right. Sure.
Let's see, porcelain, what's it, porcelain mice? What is it, porcelain blind mice, porcelain mice? The porcelain mice, is that what it's at yeah, anyway. Let's see who else was down there. But yeah, this was at Kennedy's, Mississippi Nights, and you know, all those killer venues. But then
Right.
once they started closing, that was it. There's not any venues down there open anymore.
I know.
Really sucks. Shady Jack's is the only thing that's still open down there.
Yeah.
And if he didn't own the land and the property and everything there and the bar, then he'd probably be closed because they just once they close the Landing, it's just an investment company that owns it,
Mhm.
and they're like building condos there now, and
Right.
you just can't go out and listen to live music or listen to original music. The Firebird's closed, Cicero's closed. You know, all those cool venues that have that. The Way Out Club, I think it's closed now.
Yeah. Yeah.
So sad. Maybe you should just open a venue and just play
Well,
original music.
I was just telling my friends that I'm going to start dive bars and draw as many people as I can and work up the ladder.
You could.
And I don't even care.
Exactly, because you own the place.
Because, I feel like, if it's good music, people are going to come. And
Mhm.
the venue's not that important to me. I mean, if it's a place where if they have electric and they have, people that can come and, and decent drinks, stuff like that, you just go and do it.
Definitely.
Just draw a crowd. I think my stuff is unique enough, and every song I have is danceable in a different genre. You know,
Mhm.
so I mean, whether you're sitting down drinking and dancing in your spot or up on the dance floor, either way, I think it can work. So.
Well, there's a lot of venues out there that I know would definitely, you just gotta go out and hit the streets again.
Mhm.
Unfortunately, it's just, with COVID and everybody's got to deal with restrictions and all this BS. I think they're just, everybody's dealing with everything with kid gloves as far as, when to book, how to book, and all this kind of crap. And some of them are just using the same bands that they've used before.
Right.
They keep the same
Same
schedule for
bed.
6 months. Yeah, whatever. That gets old too. But yeah, there's plenty of them that are still that are opening up. So you have nothing to lose, or just jump in there and I'll open for you, or just
Right.
to get out there. So because there's a lot of bands that do that.
Yeah.
I've got an original band that I'm managing. They're called Rosemary. It's 3 kids. They just graduated high school last year, and they've got it. They've got something, but they've got it. They've got a great sound. They have a song that they sent out to Nashville, and it was like in the top 5. I don't know where it charted in Nashville, but it was just pretty impressive for
Yeah.
3 kids out of high school
That's
last
great.
year. But yeah, they show up to the open jam and they play, and they've They've got their own showcase gig July 29th at Diamond, and they opened for Liliac there a couple weeks ago. They played at Red Flag a lot, but yeah, they've got, and their music is just awesome. It just, for 3 kids, it's just really, really good. So, you know, you hear, I always say that, you know, we need a more original sound. We've got original bands and they'll copy other bands, which is okay, but then you hear the one that has the sound, you know, that just says, you got something, you know, it's just not, they like everything, so they classify themselves as indie, but I don't consider them an indie band. They're somewhere in between indie rock, a little bit of blues, a little country, a little pop, you know, they're not all over the map, but their sound is just, you know, it's unique. So, very cool. You got some more music to play for us?
Oh, sure.
Sure. So what's the difference between the white one and the one that hardly has any guts to it at all?
Yeah, well, not much actually.
Right.
You know, the white one is just, I have it on a different effects pedal, you know.
Oh, okay.
So I just don't switch them back and forth that way. But they're pretty much almost every electric violin, if they're good quality, they're just a variation, but they work the same way pretty much, you know.
So are violins the same, made by the same people, like, you know, as far as like guitars, you know, Fenders and what is the name brand for?
There's a lot of different name brands. There's like Yamaha and Markwood and.
What is your favorite?
Well, and there's Zeta. I like Zeta, you know, just because it's a little smoother sound, more like a violin, you know, but you can change it up a lot.
Right.
The Yamaha is good too. Those are my 2 favorite, I think, at this point.
Would Zeta be the Federo?
Yeah, it's
Would be like the Federo. My ex is a bass player, so I know all about Federo basses. Holy cow, they're
Zetas
expensive.
are, you know, the 3,500 range.
Right.
You know, they're for an electric violin. That's a pretty good jump. The Yamahas are in the 1,400 range. You know, so it's like triple or something. But it's a lot easier to play. It's smoother.
I bet it's kind of sad when you go to a music store and there's only 2 or 3 violins. There's 18,000 guitars.
Yeah.
Drums for miles and basses for miles and, you know, 1 or 2 keyboards.
Or you get a violin.
3 or 4 violins, maybe a fiddle.
You get a violin in a case somewhere with a bunch of dust on it.
Right. And does it have a bow?
Yeah, you hope so. I'm not that great
Is
with-
it strong?
I'm not good enough with my teeth yet. Like Henry's, you know, I need the bow still.
Right. That is so funny. That is hilarious. So do you have a favorite player out there that you always look up to besides?
I started playing electric violin because of Jean-Luc Ponty. You ever hear of that guy?
I've heard that name.
Yeah, I was in high school then, and he came out and he was the big thing back then. I thought, wow, this guy's amazing, you know. So back then, of course, bought records, you know. So I bought his records, and I would hang out in my room and just try to copy all the notes in his songs, and I got pretty good at that because I had pretty good ears, and I just would kind of try to emulate him, and then I started thinking, you know, that's pretty cool. So then I branched off and went into different rock bands and tried to emulate the guitar players that were in the rock bands, and you know, play like a secondary line to their solo guitar parts and stuff like that. And started upping my game, and then I felt like I could play with all my favorite bands. That's really cool.
Well, yeah, it adds something, you know, just like the bands you were talking about that do have a violin. So what is the difference for people who don't know, between a violin and a fiddle, besides the fact that fiddle is always country? They always say it's always country, and it's not always country. It's just associated with a lot of country. So what is the actual difference between the two that they call it a violin versus a fiddle?
Well,
is it the body style?
Yeah,
or?
I mean, it's more about the style of music you play on it,
Right.
on the violin. You know, I mean, a fiddle and a violin are pretty similar. I mean, a fiddle, like the bridge, is usually cut a little bit lower. I mean, it's the cut is less high. You know, it's not sloped as much. It's more straight across. It's because you play 2 notes at the same time quite a bit.
Oh, okay.
And it makes it easier for the bow to grab 2 strings at the same time on a fiddle bridge, because a fiddle bridge is, you know, lower trajectory, and the violin is a higher, so you can get more. You play 1 string most of the time. If you do double, we call them double stops when you play 2 notes, or chords, whatever. You know, triple stop chords. You can do that a lot easier on a fiddle bridge. I mean, classical violins can, you know, go in the millions of dollars.
Sure.
But most people that play on fiddles, I mean, they're, you know, some of the best sounding fiddles are cheap violins that just sound great. You know,
Right.
sometimes they're just not. You know, they're maybe $800 or $900 and they sound fantastic. You know, just depends how they were made, what condition they're in, and you know, the player makes all the difference, of course.
Definitely.
Because you know, a beginner on a Stradivarius is still a crappy violin player.
Exactly. Charlie Daniels said that. Said something similar to that. I got to meet him, and what a sweetheart of a guy. I mean, for a big, and he's a big guy. And he's, but man, he would tear up that fiddle, and it was just like, I've seen strings break, and he just keeps on playing.
Right.
And it's like, and he doesn't skip a beat. You don't even know it's broken unless you're standing right there and you can see it. You know.
Right.
But he was amazing. You know, he's a great singer, and he's just a great showman all the way around.
Sure.
Super nice guy.
Right.
We did my boss did a comedy bit with his hat talking, because you know he was supposed to have a big hat, but that was a couple of years ago before he passed. But yeah, he was a sweet guy. But yeah, that's amazing. I didn't know that. So it's about the bridge, of course. I mean, of course, the player. I mean, that's pretty obvious.
Right.
Because I've seen, you know, a $50 bass get played by somebody who was just amazing, you know, because they were such a great player.
Right.
Versus, you know, like you said,
Yeah.
give them a Federa, and if they can't play it, then, you know, it's just...
And people have their favorite instruments, you know. Some guys like Willie Nelson, you know, plays with a guitar and a hole in it, you know. It's his favorite guitar, you know, because he loves the sound of it and the feel of it, you know. So it's... I don't think you don't need to go for the Cadillac of any instrument. I don't think you need to do that. Just find what you like and play the hell out of it, you know. And just make it yours, you know.
Yeah.
And then that's, you know, that's what it is. That's how it is.
So how many violins do you have? Come on.
Too many.
No, that's the wrong answer. You never have too many.
Classical violins, I have about 25.
Is that all?
And electric violins, I have about 6 or 7, I think.
Oh, is that all? I thought you were going to say at least 150.
No.
I do know people. I know a bass player who has got over 150 basses hanging in his house.
Yeah.
You know, but you know, you can never have enough.
You need a bigger house.
You would think so. So, you gonna play some more for us?
Sure.
That'd be awesome. That'd be awesome. Episode 73. Ron Vince is in the house. STL Roar, mycitymymusic.com. I guess Mickey's moving. I guess he's not going to be here. He says, oh, I might be there. Mickey's my co-host. Yeah, I don't know if he is or not. What? Stomp? Oh, shit. I forgot about him.
There's an original called the Latinator.
Thank you.
awesome! Whoa. How many instruments did you play in this one? How many instruments did you play in this one? No, I mean, what else did you play in this?
I put in the bass part, the keyboard parts, the percussion parts. Some of them are handheld.
Holy cow. That is awesome. It sounded great.
This one is called Techno Drive. It's another original.
Very cool. Oh man, that is cool. I love that ending. You play over there, or you just sit around looking cute? Is it your piano guy? You're the piano guy? Yeah? You could come up here, you know. What do you mean no? He's trying to be shy. Your handler over there is trying to be shy.
All this stuff around.
Oh, that's good. He's your roadie.
And other stuff too, social media, all kinds of stuff.
Oh, very cool.
You can be a one-man band, but if you do everything, you'll slowly die very fast.
I know. I understand.
You know, set up, tear down, play, and you know.
You always got to have a roadie.
When I was 21, I could.
Really?
Anyway,
Right. And then you said, oh, you know what? I don't have to.
no.
I can get somebody to do this for me. So we can hear all the good stuff. Because you can't play if you're too tired from hauling all your crap around.
I could probably do a cover song.
That's entirely up to you.
I think you'll know this one. I probably don't have to.
Whoa, that was badass. He's whispering. You don't have to whisper.
We're gonna make a little equipment switch here.
Equipment switch. Okay, that sounds good. It's all good. The main guy.
I think we have a.
Introduce your equipment switcher.
Oh.
Go ahead. He doesn't want to be on camera, but he's on it. Your personal roadie. You good? Okay, cool.
Well, it's probably time to crack out the other violins.
All righty. While you're doing that, I am going to pay a couple bills here real quick. So let's see. Charlotte Pub this week. Thursday is the open jam. Of course, it's the best jam in the city. I know who it is. Tony and Gracia is hosting the open jam this week. Friday night, Ron Buehlinger's band, The Stingers, is playing with Farrell Weber. I haven't seen Farrell in a while. That's going to be a killer show. And Saturday, believe it or not, Charlotte Judy is taking off this weekend. She's going to be closed. I can't believe it. That's awesome. But Judy, shout out to Judy. Woo, 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 woo. She deserves a weekend off for free. St. Charles Music House, Friday, 40 miles to Vegas. Saturdays, John Shanahan's newest band, Sweet Meat. He plays all the classic songs from KC95, if you're a KC95 freak, like I am. So, and then at Diamond, like I mentioned, Tuesday night, tomorrow night is the open jam with Steve Hall, John Eschenbrenner, Rob Sherman, and Kevin Lehman and Bobby Taylor. And then let's see, Thursday night, it's going to be an all-original night. There's a couple bands on here that have been on our show. Amethyst, I can say that again. Amethyst, Misplaced Religion, Dead Format, and Decimus. That's going to be a killer show. And then Friday night, Plastic Kings. And Saturday, same band, Colton's back in town with Faster Pussycat with a special guest, ALI. That's going to be a great show. So, while we're waiting on Mr. Ron to regroup, he's got another pretty violin he's going to play for us. I like that white one. That's cool. Very cool. That's a Zena. Zeta? Zena. Zeta. That is a whole different sound. I like it. Sure. is a different sound. I really like it. That is so wow. That is so cool. So which one do you like playing better? Do you like them just
I
you just
think they're both equal,
yeah,
just different, sources.
right. Right, very cool. How about one more and then we'll take a break?
Sure.
One more and we'll take a break. He's got so many songs he can't pick one. Wow, I love that. I haven't heard a genre yet you haven't played. Is there a genre he hasn't played yet? I don't think so. We've heard the blues, we've heard jazz, we've heard rock and roll. What's left? What have we got? You know any punk? Hip hop? Okay, that'd be cool. All right, so we're going to take a little break. We're going to be back in a few. We're going to start out with a little Rosemary, episode 73. Ron Vince in the house. Awesome. STL Roar, mycitymymusic.com. And, of course, I forgot to give props to Mr. Tweezy back here. He makes all this happen. He makes everybody sound good because he's the boss. He's the man. There you go, Tweezy. There's your applause. Get a day off. Rosemary. I'm gonna play them. Here's it.
been playing nice. Let's stay in the dark, no sleep tonight. Have another drink, you'll be alright. I don't wanna sleep when I'm with you. Let's get in trouble, something we shouldn't do. Give me your whiskey and cigarette love. I don't care what they say, we're just having fun. Let's run away, get out of this town. The sun's coming up, don't let me down. I might make a mistake, but come tomorrow our sins wash away. The fun always ends when day comes to break. I know the morning will take you away. I don't wanna go to sleep tonight. Hiding behind shadows to keep your light alive. I don't wanna stop and feeling high. Let's keep running from the sunrise.
Awesome. Episode 73, STL Roar, mycitymymusic.com. So we had a little break. Rosemary started off Across the River. Breakdown by the 45, The Many Colored Death, their song Drown, and a Crystal Lady, Whiskey and Cigarettes. We've got Ron Vince in the house doing his thing, and he's freaking wicked awesome. And he's not done yet. We're not letting him get out of here alive. So, you got some more music for us?
Yeah.
Please, take it
Play
away.
a little solo kind of a song called Shokan Farewell. Some of you may know this from a movie a little bit back, about 10 years ago or not. I don't know, maybe. But it's a good song either way. Here we go.
Alrighty. That's amazing. So, okay, you've been playing for ever.
Long time.
Okay, long time. But playing this instrument is a lot more difficult. I mean, as far as just like a guitar or bass or anything like that. Why is it so difficult? Is it because of the bow? Is it because of the strings? What is it that makes it so difficult? Because when you mess up, you can hear it versus you can recover or blow past it when you're playing guitar or bass. So tell us why it is so, I mean, because you're very precise and very right on and just, because I've heard some bad violin players. So what is it about the pressure, or is there a key?
There's a lot of variables to control with electric violins, especially when you're playing up against a track that you wrote,
Right,
because you don't want the violin has to be, to me, should be part of the mix,
right,
should fit in like, not super loud compared to the track, because I'm a one-man band, so I try to fit in as a one-man band person, in a band.
right.
Try to blend better, So the thing about the violin, and I don't want guitar players to hate me because,
That's okay. You're good. You're
their
good.
instruments are hard too, I think to play anything well, you have to play really well, and every instrument's difficult to play super well,
Sure.
Violin is, noted as one of the harder instruments. Well, every note I play, you have to tune every single note you play. Just like, because there's no frets like a guitar.
Gotcha.
So you can put your finger on a fret and you'd be in tune. It might not be the best sound, but you'd be there.
Right.
Violin, every little, up or down, you hear it. And it doesn't sound great if
Right.
it's not in tune.
That's amazing.
And so there's a lot of precision involved.
And you got to work that with the bow. So how does the bow work when you're? I mean, what are the mechanics as far as other than just watching you play it? How do you make that?
The changing back and forth, like the strokes and stuff like that.
Right. I mean, as far as when you're tuning and you've got the bow. So
Right.
how does that coordinate
Bow
together?
changes, you could be a real stiff player and have like a real scratchy back and forth sound, when you're changing direction on the bow, but your wrist has to, move in a way that you hide those changes,
Right.
So it's a lot of coordination on a violin.
I mean, you've taught for a long time, so I mean, you've seen the good students and the bad students
Sure.
and the natural ones, and just, I mean, what's your advice to the ones who just really have the gumption but just can't get it? I mean, how do you?
I just say keep pushing up because,
Right.
with a good teacher, you'll learn how to finesse the violin.
Mhm.
Violin is a finesse instrument. It's not a beat it over the head instrument.
Right.
Certain instruments you can smack hard.
Right,
You can with the violin as long as you know what you're doing.
right,
Right.
right.
You can make it sound really crappy if you don't know what you're doing.
Right.
So it's to learn the control, the bow pressures. It has a lot to do with it. To maintain your bow pressure all the way through the whole bow.
Right.
When the bow is shaped like this, and you got to maintain pressure, and there's a lot to coordinate between the bow and the left hand, the tuning, and then whatever else. Plus, I'm improvising over my tracks. When I play these tracks, and trying to create new melodies. And so when you hear my music, every time you hear it, it'll be a little different. Which I like that freedom.
Right.
That's why my name is Freestyle.
Right.
Because I'm free to play whatever style I want at the moment.
Right.
Whatever I'm feeling, whatever's coming out of me is going out to the audience.
Right.
That's really what this is all about.
Well, I mean, that has to do. I mean, that all goes without saying, especially with original music. I mean, because that is what it's about, is
It's like
original
a
music.
jazz musician playing a main melody, and that we call it the head in jazz. You play the head, and then you go off and do whatever you want, come back to the head.
Yeah.
So that's what I like. I like that.
So what's the biggest hurdle that most of your students have? Just coordinating all that, or just you've been teaching.
Yeah.
So what is
Long time.
the is there one specific thing or just a combination?
Like violin players, so I have trouble with pitch.
Mm-hmm.
Like they used to say in American Idol, it's pitchy. It's
Right.
out of tune.
Right.
With the violin, same thing. So controlling your pitch,
Mhm.
and then controlling your coordination. The bow is I think harder to master than the left hand. With the violin,
Mhm.
the fingers.
Right.
To master the bow arm takes many years. That's very difficult.
What about the southpaws?
Well, there are left-handed violin players. You got to
Yeah.
reverse the strings, and they play on the other side of the bow. With
Right.
The left hand.
Right. How?
I've been in orchestras where I've played next to those people, and you better watch your eyes.
Yeah.
Man, you're about ready to get poked.
Right.
You have to kind of sit a little back, and especially COVID, you want to be on the other side of the stage.
Right.
But I mean, in regular conditions, you still want to be away because you might
Right.
get clipped, you know.
Right.
So,
That
so you just got to be careful.
that is, but isn't that a little bit more difficult to teach or not?
Yeah. Left-handed player.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a little more difficult. But you try to discourage them from doing that because you got to do two things very difficult with both hands anyway.
Mhm.
So if they're left-handed, actually the fingers are left-hand fingers.
Mhm.
So they're sometimes a little more coordinated right away with the
Right.
left hand as far as the left-hand fingering.
Right.
But the bow, like I say, the bow takes many, many years. You know.
Wow, that's amazing. That is
Yeah,
so cool.
I mean, it takes probably 15 or 20 years to be a very good classical player on the violin.
Mhm.
You know, if you're going to be trying out for a symphony orchestra, good luck after 10 years.
Right.
It's almost impossible.
Were you playing with St. Louis Symphony when Randy Jackson was here a couple of years ago?
No, I played with St. Louis Symphony in the 80s and 90s.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Because you know Randy Jackson from Zebra, he comes in town and he
Yeah.
plays with them.
Yeah.
I was at that show a couple of years ago. It was amazing. Randy Jackson's got a voice that just, I mean, he did a concert at with Zebra at the Wildly Theater. It was a sold out show, and then he went right next door to Lori's place, which is in Edwardsville, and he did a 2-hour solo acoustic, and his voice didn't falter at all. And he's got such a great range. I mean, he did Led Zeppelin, and he did, you know, all those besides his own music, and it was simply amazing. But yeah, he's played with the symphony, and I thought, man, that is so awesome, so cool. What's that like playing with the symphony as far as all those people? I mean, is there a lot of egos and attitudes, or is it just the conductor?
I think it's a lot of mutual respect.
Good.
Because it's not as cutthroat as you might think, you know. I mean, I think once you make it to that level, everybody pretty knows you're a really damn good player.
Right,
You know,
right.
some are better than others, you know,
Mhm.
and for sure, you know.
Mhm.
And they're standout people, you know, but they don't tend to be very, you know, in your face about, oh, I'm better than you or anything like that.
Right.
Everybody kind of just, you know, it's like being in a big family. You have to learn how to get along, you know.
Mhm.
Especially if you got a tour and stuff like that. So
But isn't it kind of
that
difficult?
experience was good.
I'm sorry, but isn't it kind of difficult when you're playing with all these? I mean, you've got a conductor. I just think of my days in band when we had the conductor, and it was like you had to pay attention to him, learn your music, play, and all,
It's a lot.
and march.
It's a
You know,
lot.
it was like,
I mean,
and he knew, you know, out of all the 300 people in that band, if you're messing up, he's pointing right at you, screaming and yelling. You know, it was like, so I'm just thinking, as a grown up, you still have to do the same thing, right? I mean,
Yeah, your responsibility is obviously to the conductor. You know,
Right.
The conductor leads the show.
right,
The other thing is that you know you got to remember that you know when you play with a symphony, you're playing brand new music every single week, like over 2 hours of music that
Mhm.
you may some of it you may never have played before.
Really?
The modern music, you know, that's written by
Mhm.
today's composers, you know, maybe that's the first time that piece was debuted ever, you know, so we don't know that piece. We have to, you know, learn it, and you get about 2 or 3 rehearsals, and all of a sudden you're playing in front of 2,500 people or something. You know, it's a big responsibility. So
Wow.
it's a lot to, you know, a different show every week.
Mhm.
You know, think about, you know, rock musicians. They play the same music for many, many years.
Right.
Every show, and some new music, of course. You know,
Mhm.
but with a symphony orchestra, they're playing a different show every week. You know, completely different music every single week. So it's a whole other kind of thing. Of course, there's music, there's notes that you can read, but
Mhm.
it's still like a lot of music. You got to learn real fast.
Uh,
So there's not much time.
And you can read and write music as far as
Yeah.
all of that stuff. And you learned that in school, and then
Sure.
then you taught it after that.
Right.
Did you teach music theory?
I taught musicianship at Webster University for like 3 years. So I taught sight singing, sight reading, you know, general music skills, things like that. A little bit of theory mixed in, but I wasn't like a theory teacher, so to
Right.
speak, you know. But I
Right.
mixed some in. You know. So and that was fun. That was a lot of fun.
How
I taught
about-
a lot of music theater students, you know, too.
Mhm.
Actors and actresses and dancers who, to them, you know, seeing what's involved and, you know, all the nuts and bolts of being a good musician was really interesting to them, you know. 'Cause
Right.
they might have taken voice lessons, but they didn't necessarily know how to do the things that I taught. So
Right.
it's
But,
nice.
but teaching at a university is probably way better than. I mean, can you imagine teaching high school with some of the kids are like, oh, I don't want to do this. But when they get to college, that's what they're going to school for.
They
So
choose
they're
it.
all
Yeah, they choose it.
excited
Yeah,
and
they choose
just yeah.
That's a different.
I mean that's just got to
They
be.
don't have to do it. They choose it. You know, as a career or a minor in it or something. You know,
Mhm.
that's a so much, they actually want to do it.
Right.
You know.
Because that's why they're there.
Sure.
Do you still keep in touch with a lot of your students? Still keep in touch
Some
with
of
you?
them I do, yeah.
Mhm. Any of them gone on to be successful or any of that?
Yeah, and a lot of them have gone into symphony orchestras and are public school teachers, and some are like surgeons, you know, and they still play the violin. I have one of my students, I won't mention his name, but he's at Wash U Med School, you know,
Mhm.
at Barnes, and he's a hand surgeon. And it was really
Oh.
funny because I hadn't kept in touch with him in years, and actually met him on a gig. We were playing a string quartet, and he was there, and I said, hey, his name was Jason. I said, hey, what are you doing here, Jason? He said, what are you doing here? I said, I don't know. I think we might be playing the same gig, and we were. I hadn't
Oh
seen
my
him in
gosh!
like 20 years. You know?
How cool was
And
that?
he was like, yeah, I got hired to play this job, and I said, so did I. So we sat down and played some string quartets for like 2 hours. It was fantastic.
Oh my gosh! So
It
he,
was cool.
so I mean, so all your teaching, I mean, that just pays off right there in
Sure,
itself,
sure.
doesn't it?
You
I
gotta see
mean,
that they're keeping going with it.
Mhm.
That's my dream is not so much that they go into music, but they keep playing.
right.
In some way, for their own enjoyment, or for their kids, or their family, or just why not play? You know, that they learned and they kept it going. It's very gratifying to see that. So I like that.
And you're a legacy because your dad was a singer, right? So what about your mom? Was your mom?
She was a piano player and a clarinet player.
Well, there we go.
They
What?
met in college in music school.
Oh my goodness, that is so awesome. Do you have any legacies? Any kids running around playing music
I have
or?
a daughter that plays the piano, but she's an interior designer, and
Cool.
she still plays piano.
Well, that's good.
She's grown, and yeah, she did really well with piano. She got to play Carnegie Hall 3 times.
What?
Yeah, she was very good.
You should drag her out to play a few gigs. Come on, daughter, you're not
Well,
doing anything
she
else.
She wanted to be a concert pianist, and so she just plays for herself, and she does other things. It's all good. She still plays.
Wow, Carnegie Hall.
That's a hard life.
Oh yeah,
Solo piano is hard stuff.
really?
That's very tough life.
Have you played? Did you play Carnegie Hall?
I did with the symphony a bunch of times.
Wow,
But she did it as a soloist, you know.
how awesome!
It's cool.
I mean, how proud were you? Just, I
Oh,
mean,
yeah.
oh my goodness, that would be
Very.
so. Wow, that's amazing.
It's great. Yeah, it's great.
That is so cool. Do her? I mean, are you a grandpa? I mean, do her kids play?
No, not yet.
Not yet. Well, she needs to quit playing
Well,
piano.
should be. But we won't tell her that. She's got to figure that out for herself.
Well, let's see. We've got like 9 minutes left. So, dealer's choice. What do you want to play? I don't know. Episode 73. Ron Vince in the house, and he needs gigs, so please hit him up on Facebook. He's a starving musician like the rest of us. So you played all the genres, so
We'll give you something different.
okay, really? Here we go. Something really different.
I will. Here we go.
I don't know what sound that is. That is something different. Okay, so now you've played all of them, right? Let's see, maybe a little funky, maybe a little punky, maybe a little. Oh my gosh, yeah, that's awesome.
Give you something that's just
We haven't heard disco yet.
a little more classically put together.
Awesome. Freaking awesome. It was sexy, wasn't it? He's gonna run home to his girlfriend. Yeah. Say, baby, listen to this. Episode 73. Ron Vince in the house. Freestyle. Check him out. Facebook. So we can get all your music. Are you on Spotify too?
Not yet, but I will be.
You will be.
They
Okay.
can catch me on Freestyle, a.k.a. Ron Vince.
One more time.
Freestyle, a.k.a. Ron Vince.
Whoa, whoa, whoa.
Yeah.
AKA Ron Vince. Facebook, are you? And you're on YouTube, right? You will be. You are tonight. This is all on YouTube.
All right.
So, and all your music, I'm going to download it at STL Roar. It's on, what's it called? 365 is the app. You can download it for free on either phone, Android or iPhone. It's all my original music. It's my original music collection. It goes back to the 70s. It's about, I'm up to about 2.5 weeks worth of music, nonstop. All original music from St. Louis. All the musicians, they're all mixed up in several bands now, or not in bands, or not playing, or, you know, dead or alive, they're on there. So, I know, who cares? They're never going to die. Nobody's ever going to die. The Beatles are never going to break up, you know, so that's the way I live anyway. So let's see, we've got about 2 minutes left. So how about one more song? Whatever you want to play. He's got so many songs. Woo! That is awesome. Episode 73. We're on again. It's STL Roar, mycitymymusic.com. Thank you so much for coming in. You're awesome. Thank you, Tweezy. Next week, I think Ed Callison and some of the guys from Freebird are going to be in here. Talking about their show for 4th of July at the drive-in. Otherwise, we will see you next week. Peace out.